All right, we're
Very nice to
live, y'all.
faces.
Perfect.
It's
I
Wednesday.
see my
Thank you for
friends.
joining us here for another edition of Ladies and Lunch, virtual lunch networking series. And I'm your host, Cha Jones. For those of you who are joining us for the very first time, Ladies and Lunch is a weekly virtual networking lunch for women who want to connect, share, and engage with industry leaders. And today I am super excited because I have a wonderful panel. This is our first panel during the global pandemic. And these are some very special women. Some of them I know personally, and then some of them I don't. However, they're all around the world. We have Dr. Pamela Caldwell, who is a professor of business in China. We have Miss Fabulous Sheila Kay, who is an online entrepreneur who is in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. We have Anika Stewart, who is in Dubai. She is an educator. Shadia Foster, who is a master's student in pharmacy in Germany. And then we have Miss Fabulous Nicole Brewer, who is an English teacher in Oman. Did I leave anybody out? I think I got everybody.
It's a great mix.
Welcome, ladies. Thank you. I'm excited that you are here to share your experience of what's going on where you are in the world. I'm going to give you all a brief moment to just introduce yourself. I like to give my guests that opportunity because nobody can do it like you do it. You do it best. Those of you who are waiting, I'm admitting everybody, so I apologize that we're a little late. We'll make up for some time. I'm going to ask everybody to introduce themselves. Then we'll talk a little, have a little conversation. I'll ask you a few questions, and then I'm going to open it up for all of our good guests to start asking questions as well. So if you're not a guest, I'm going to ask that you mute yourself just so that we can have some structure. And then when we open up for questions, if you want to just hit the raise hand and submit your question, you can go ahead and do so. So right now we'll start with, since Miss Sheila is my first person in the box next to me. We'll start with Sheila. We'll go to Anika, Pamela, then we'll get Shahida, and then we'll go to Nicole. How about that?
Right. Sounds good. So I'm Sheila Kay, formerly known as Sheila Brown. I am down here in Mexico. I am actually an internet entrepreneur. I started making money online probably like 11 years ago. And I'm kind of known for, back in 2012, I kind of gave up my Beverly Hills life and been traveling around the world as a home-free luxury entrepreneur, traveling, living abroad, lived in Dominican Republic for several years, Thailand, et cetera, et cetera. So I create a lot of online courses. I basically teach people how to fund your life abroad and how to find remote jobs as well. So I have courses in how to make lots and lots of money on Amazon passively through low content books. I teach e-commerce. I have a brand called blackwrap.co, which I created. It's a seasonal brand, and it sells African-American themed Christmas items, so we're morphing into something else as well. But I live here in Mexico and happy and thriving. So that's me.
Thank you, Sheila. Miss Anika.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anika. I'm originally from Florida, USA, and I'm over here doing learning support in Dubai for Swiss International School, which is a bilingual private institution here in Dubai. I'm loving it. I've been here just about 2 years. And I'm really happy to be here. I'm happy to be participating, so thank you for having me.
Thank you. Let's go to Shahida, just because you're next on my screen.
All right. Well, hi, everybody. My name is Shahida. I am originally from Brooklyn, New York, and I'm currently living in Göttingen. I work at a pharmaceutical technology company, and I'm also a master's student. I'm studying international management and information systems. And also, I'm the creator of Black Girls Learn Languages, which is a multi-platform digital community for Black women who are passionate about languages. We actually just had our first online event. It was the first language summit for Black women. We had it last month in April, which is Black Women's History Month in Georgia. So I was really excited about that. But yeah, that's basically me.
Good. Thank you. Let's go to Nicole.
Okay. Hello, ladies. Hello, everyone. My name is Nicole Brewer, and I am from Detroit, Michigan. I actually have been living abroad as an ESL or English as a second language teacher now for just over a decade. I actually started teaching abroad in South Korea. I was there for 3.5 years, and then I was interested in going somewhere else, trying a new location. So then I decided to move to Oman, and 7 years later, I am still here. I actually was in Oman for a year. I left, went to grad school in Germany, and did a master's in humanitarian aid. But then I ended up coming back to Oman and just stayed because it's just such an awesome lifestyle. I'm really enjoying life here. And I'm actually also a travel blogger, the co-founder of the I Love the Globe travel site and online community. And so, we have a Facebook, a travel group of almost 10,000 members, and we try to do meetups and we do trips. We've had a group trip to India before. We've had a group trip to Iceland. We were going to have a retreat this year, but that obviously has been postponed. So, that's one of my passions. Obviously, I love teaching as an English teacher, and I'm also a travel blogger, freelance travel writer, and the offer of a guide to landing an English teaching job abroad, which is available on Amazon, because I would just get so many questions about how did I get into this lifestyle and how can others people get into this lifestyle. So I decided to publish a book about it. So, as a travel blogger and living in Oman, there's been a lot of curiosity about this region. So I've been very fortunate to have some pretty good success over the past few years with my travel site and been featured in Forbes and Essence and National Geographic and some other amazing publications. So I'm really blessed and just grateful for the lifestyle that I've been able to acquire living abroad. So that's me.
Thank you, Nicole. And Miss Dr. Pamela.
Well, thank you for having me. My name is Dr. Pamela Caldwell. I am originally from Dover, Oklahoma. Right now, I am a business professor at a university here in Chongqing, China. I've been here a little over 3 years, and so this is my first stop in my life abroad. So I teach undergraduate business classes. I teach master level classes, anything in business, management, leadership, accounting, environmental science, project management. I have a list of classes I teach. I am also the owner of the CAM Group. We are a health and wellness company. I'm a certified life coach, a certified health um, integrative coach as well. I help people improve their sleep naturally. I'm also into essential oils. So I coach people on when we look at our health and wellness, how we have to see it as it's all being interconnected. So helping people improve their sleep. I look at what is going on in your life. It's not just the hour or two that you're preparing um, to go to bed. It's the minute that you wake up, everything you are exposed to affects how you sleep. So that is what we do at the CAM group.
Thank you. You all are some very amazing women who are doing some amazing things. And I'm excited to get the conversation started. I'm just going to ask you a few questions. I have a couple, but I want to open it up because we have a lot of guests today so that they can ask questions. And I'm sure you're going to get a lot of questions for people who are still in the States who are really wanting to go abroad. Maybe they're in that like situation where they were preparing but weren't able to go because of the pandemic. And then you have people who are also living abroad as well. So let's just start with the obvious question. Well, first I want to ask you all, like, how are you doing with such a big adjustment? We're entering into our new normal. And you all are already outside of your norm or what you were born into as a norm. So how are you all doing? Sheila?
It's funny when I answer this question. I am thriving and we are happy as hell down here in Mexico. Obviously we're on lockdown and all those things as well, but for us, it's just, I don't know, we're just really happy. I live with my roommate Claire of Up in the Air Life travels and whatnot. So we're building businesses and just loving life. And also too, I'm an introvert, and so I realized with this quarantine and whatnot, my life is a hermit anyway. So with having to stay in the house, nothing really changed for me. It's just it became normalized for the rest of the world. So I actually feel kind of normal since everybody else has to be in. So I'm actually really happy.
Okay. Nicole, you're next. You're up on my or
well, not up into that thriving category like my girl Sheila over here. It's been, I won't say it's been a constant, like it's been what now, over 2 months since the pandemic has been happening. And I went through, obviously, my survival. I know they have this survival versus thriving versus the different phases of this pandemic, and I definitely was in survival mode for like over a month. Like the struggle was real because I live in a small town here in Oman, Nizwa. It's like an hour and a half outside of Muscat, the capital, and so like Muscat has been shut down for like the past month. And usually for me, like I can be a introverted extrovert. So like I like my me time, but every so often I need to get out and get with my people. Like I have a nice tribe of friends here, one of them online, hey Karen. But I have a nice tribe of friends, and like going through this period of not being able to really socialize, like really taking it seriously, social distancing. I've been to myself for most of the time that we've been, the pandemic has been happening. So, it was a struggle, especially, I mentioned before, I'm from Detroit. And Detroit was hard hit. My immediate family, my mom and my sisters, they're in Atlanta, in Georgia. But, I still have aunties, uncles, cousins, people in Detroit. And seeing the numbers there, like I was getting depressed just seeing what's happening. And then I had 2 people in my family pass away from COVID, an aunt and an uncle on 2 different sides of my family. So the struggle was real. It was just like, I'm away from my family. I see everyone's hurting and going through pain. And for me, I'm like, I'm over here on the other side of the globe. I'm mourning by myself. It's like, so I will admit, like, it was a lot of survival. But I would say in the past few weeks, I've been thriving more. I've been doing panels, I've done podcast interviews. I started an online certificate course in hospitality and tourism. Like, I'm just trying to keep myself occupied. But I had to give myself a month of just like survival, just grieving and breathing. So that was important. So
that's extremely important. And sorry to hear about your family. So my condolences go out to you and your family. Shahida.
Oh, I'm doing okay. Actually, as you guys know, I'm from New York City, so that's one of the epicenters of the virus right now. And I do have some people that I knew was affected, but thank God they recovered. So my dad was affected. He works for MTA, so there's the thing with MTA, they keep shutting it down and this and that. And a lot of the conductors and the bus drivers and stuff were affected. And I had also a friend, her whole family got it. But other than that, I'm okay. I like Sheila said, I guess I'm an extroverted introvert because it's like I'm enjoying this time because it's like, but at the same time, it's like I like the option of being able to go outside, and I'm kind of missing that. But I do like the fact that I don't have to sacrifice my weekends because I get very annoyed. I like to just stay home and rest. And it's like, oh, let's do this, let's do that. And it's like, now I don't have to do that. So, and I feel like Germany's handling it very well. We did have high numbers, but we also have a high numbers of people who recovered. And they did a really good job of making sure that this is manageable to the point where they're not running out of resources. Hospitals aren't, overrun with people who have it. And, so at the present, I'm okay. There's different parts of Germany. Like I have friends in Bavaria where it's like completely shut down, but like where we are, it's not completely shut down. So it's okay. And I'm doing all right.
Great. I'm glad to hear that. Anika.
I would have to say I feel very blessed and fortunate to be in Dubai during the pandemic. When we first heard that things were locking down, a lot of my friends back home were very concerned. They're like, "Oh, we're worried about you. You're over there by yourself." And then I would watch the news and listen to podcasts, and I just felt I couldn't help but feel very fortunate and blessed to be over here. I'll echo what you said. The government here has handled things very well, so I felt very safe. There hasn't been a huge panic here. They've been very strict about, people protecting themselves and wearing masks and being mindful. So I feel very fortunate about that. I'm saving a lot of money, which in Dubai can be hard, can be very hard to do. You want to go to brunch, you want to get your nails done, hair, lashes, all that stuff. And so that all decreased significantly because you couldn't do any of those things. And so I was actually surprised that I was so happy with being stuck in the house. I've started, I got plants going now. So I'm really like rediscovering Anika during this time, focusing on what my goals are. Online learning, distance learning has been a blessing. So it's been great. I would say I'm basically thriving. I feel really good. I'm in a good place mentally. My family's okay. My friends are okay. I don't know anyone who's been directly affected by the virus. And so I would just say I feel really blessed.
Great, thank you. And Dr. Pamela.
Well, I've been battling this thing since January because I'm in China. But when it started, we were on winter break and it was around the Chinese New Year. So around the Chinese New Year, a lot of things are really slow because they travel. This year, some did and some didn't. So it was really slow. And then for our school, we went back online virtually a week after we were supposed to start. So I've been working online since the beginning of March. But when it started, I was on winter break and I already had plans for winter break. I was staying here because I was working on my business. I was working on my book. So for 6 weeks, I had already had it planned out of what I was going to do. And basically, I was going to spend a lot of time in the house. So when it first started, it really didn't faze me because I had my plan. I know back in the States, when I was what was I going to do if I was back home? And they would ask me, and it's like, no, my plan was to stay here for winter break, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to just leave just because. Um, so, so for me, it has been really good because it gave me a time to focus on myself of what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go. Was I really happy with where I was at? It gave me time to work on my business and just focus on myself. So for me, I've been okay. It's like mentally it's starting to get hard because it's going on 6 months. And and so I have to find ways and things to do to make sure mentally I'm okay. However, I have gotten a lot done. I've been working on my business. I was able to do a challenge. Actually, I was able to finish my book and I just sent it to the publisher. I'm hoping to have a release date August 1st. And the title is I Know What the World is Missing, My Greatest Me. And so I introduced my new framework, My Greatest Me, Becoming, Being, Sustaining, transition through changes. So I was able to do that. I was able to do a lot of productive things to help my business, and that is what is keeping me grounded and focused on what I need to do because this too shall pass. Like my mom tells me every time I call her, this too shall pass. And so for me, I know this will pass. So what kind of shape am I going to be in when this passes?
Good. I'm so glad that all of you are doing well. I know that this is challenging for everybody, and learning to adapt to your new norm is difficult for anybody. But since you're living abroad, let me just ask, like, what is the most challenging thing that you've had to deal with in terms of adjusting to a new norm outside of your country of origin?
Mm.
I'll start. I think for me, it's the lack of freedom to maneuver around. I didn't realize how much I took that for granted. Now, honestly, I didn't leave the house that much anyway, but every day I'd go out and get my, my 10,000 steps in, and being with my girlfriends and whatnot too. So I think that's been the biggest challenge. And moving here to Mexico back in November, before my travels abroad and living abroad, I was always alone. And that kind of had an effect. But here in Mexico, there's a community of these amazing, Black women. We be together all the time and hug each other and all that stuff. And we still see each other, but we don't hug, we don't do any of that. So that, I think that for me is the biggest challenge, is giving up that connection when I fought so hard and so long to actually have a community. And it's like, we're here, but it's like, it's different. So I think that's the biggest thing for me.
Thank you, Sheila.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Your face popped up on the screen. Go ahead.
Okay. I was gonna say I would have to agree. I was just actually telling somebody that yesterday, as far as I'm not the most affectionate person, but for the first time I went outside non-essentially to meet a friend Friday since March 20th. And it was like, we can't have that, we can't hug, we can't kiss, we have to like have this social distancing kind of. And it's like, wow, I didn't realize how much like this feeling that you get, these greetings, these hugs, these kisses you get from the people you're very connected with, especially when you're away from home by yourself. Because I'm not here with the family, I'm by myself. So it's like that's the main thing. And then also the option to move, because I had trips planned. I wanted to go to Santorini. I also wanted to go to a conference in Poland, and these things are not going to happen. Oktoberfest got canceled. I'm devastated. I was going to buy my Dundle outfit and everything. So it's like all the things that I was looking forward to is gone. And the most important thing for me anyway, hot girl summer. I'm like, is it happening? Is it not happening? Like, what's going on? Because I'm trying to be seen being cute, and I don't think I'm.
Okay, Anika.
I was just gonna kind of pivot from that. For me, it's been the biggest challenge has been, what if I have to go home? Because the thought of that is really scarier than anything else, to be honest with you. And that's no shade to anyone living in the US, but you ladies understand where I'm coming from.
Yes.
I'm not ready to go home. I don't want to move home. And so the situation here in Dubai is such that many people have been losing their jobs, or they're facing their salaries being decreased. And so our parents have to pay exorbitant fees for this school. And so they were kind of refunding parents partially. They were waiving certain fees. So that meant salary decreasing. That meant losing certain amount of staff members. And so there's a big question mark. Are we going to go back into the building? If we don't go back into the building, some of the parents who've been quite patient and understanding, I mean, they have no choice. They're not feeling distance learning continuing much longer. So just the kind of question mark of like, what is the next school year going to look like? Because that is my industry. I would say has been the most challenging thing. I do miss my friends as well. I'm still super close to all my friends back at home. And so, they try to keep me up all night talking on the phone with them. So that's been great. But I think the unknown has been a challenge, and I'm just trying to lean into it and be super, have an attitude of gratitude is what I say. That's how I'm trying to deal with that.
All right. Nicole?
Yeah, really, just to kind of piggyback off what the other ladies were saying, I totally agree. I feel the same exact sentiment. I've been living on the notion of, like I was saying before, I'm, single. I live by myself. I'm used to being alone, but being an expat, like having that community, that tribe of friends, is so important So that's been a big challenge for me, like knowing that I have friends who are dealing with, mental health issues right now and depression and different things, and I can't be there for them. I can't physically reach out and touch and just hug my friend after I see them. I haven't seen them in months. Actually, just to get some things, and it was like, oh, this is so nice. I haven't been trying to follow social distancing, but it's like, okay, I want to say bye now, but gotta keep our distance. Like, I can't hug you. And so it's like things like that, like the having physical touch, just being able to hug someone or greet someone, like as humans, we are physical beings as much as some of us may be loners or not, but that's been a challenge for me. And then being a travel blogger, like I was supposed to go to Dubai last month for the Arabian travel market, which is obviously not happening in person. It's now moving virtually. So I'm grateful for having meetings and being able to guest on podcasts and doing different things because that helps to at least still have that sense of community. But yeah, I miss just having physical connection, physical contact, being in person, present with people in real time. And as well as being a language teacher here in the Middle East and Oman in particular, it's not as big as my big brother over here in Dubai, right? But small country working at a college here, we were not prepared at all to transition to online learning. So I definitely have to touch base on that as well. It was like, okay, students left after week 8. They had their midterm exam. They went home to their village, expecting to come back next week, and they never came back. So, and they didn't take their books, and so it was like, okay, how are we going to transition to online? All of our classes are in person. We've never done this, and having to wait for ministry approval for using different platforms. Like it was just, I'll admit, it was a mess. So it was a transition of going to online learning when none of us had done it, and they never even approved. Like for example, we're having a meeting here on Zoom. They never approved Zoom as a platform, so we were just sitting there waiting for like a week, just trying to see what the Ministry of Education was going to come up with. So time lost and in class, online with my students. Not being able to travel, I miss travel, obviously. That's a biggie for me as a travel blogger. So yeah, it's definitely been a challenge. But like I said before, I'm just grateful to have this opportunity to really see beautiful, smiling faces from all over the world right now. So, yeah.
Good. And Dr. Pam.
Um, for me, the transition is just um, being at a place where everything is new and just trying to maneuver like the everyday things that I did in the U.S. How it becomes much harder, even just going to the grocery store. So just getting used to everything being different, trying to find your place in in a place where you're out of place, so that was my hardest part, but I've been able to um, find a group of network that I hang with, and that has helped me transition to here. But with the transitioning to online, we weren't prepared either. Our students didn't have their books. What platform do you use? So it's been a headache and it's been challenging, but the administration here has been really helpful in trying to make the transition just a little bit easier.
Great. I do have more questions, but I'm going to, just because of the time, and I know for some people it's really, really late. So I want to go ahead and open it up to anyone who has a question. If you do have a question on the side, if you can just click on, I guess it's not there. There was a raise your hand button, but if you want to go ahead and ask a question, I just want to kind of try to make sure that we have some type of order. But anyone have a question that they want to ask any of the young ladies? If not, I will ask my next question. If you do have a question, put it in the chat and then I'll call on you. How about that? That way we can have some kind of order. But self-care, let's talk about self-care, because Sheila mentioned that prior to, she was going out getting her steps in You got an opportunity to meet other people. You had the opportunity to hug and embrace, because that's what we do as people of color. But what are you all doing to maintain some type of self-care and make sure that not only are you mentally and physically sound, but that your emotions are intact as well during this time?
Here, luckily in our building, we have a rooftop pool and jacuzzis and all that stuff. So they kept it open. They also kept our gym open, which is nice. So Claire and I practice self-care several times a week. We'll go to the roof, we'll go to the pool, hang out. We get our sun, get our vitamin D, and you can see the ocean from our rooftop too. So that's a huge piece. Eating well. So our diets have changed since we can't go to our restaurants and all that stuff. So we do a lot of cooking. You know, Claire's decided to become vegan over the past 2 weeks, and I'm the benefit of her cooking these amazing things. So we're eating healthy. I've dropped like over 42 pounds since November, since I got down here. So the eating healthy has been really amazing too. And to be honest, you know, all of us down here, we smoke weed every day. So we all call it self-care. So, you know, we re-up, get a big bag at the beginning of the month, and literally, you know, every night blazing. So it is like mandatory. It's like a mandatory self-care here. So yeah.
Where you guys at in Mexico again?
Right. Yeah.
Drop those beats.
We're here in Playa. And in fact, the price of an ounce just went down. So it's like,
oh, that's nice.
Okay, because I have to say this. Leave it to Sheila.
Hey, you know. But it's real. It's really
that sounds
true.
Amazing.
Yeah,
it does. It
like,
really
I don't
does.
know what I would do if we couldn't blaze. I'm like, oh, it would be a whole different situation. So
it is.
Sheila, you're on vacation. You're on vacation during the pandemic. You got the rooftop.
But you know, my life is a vacation though. I designed my life to be that.
Right.
And it's like, you know, that's part of the purpose of moving abroad, because we can live places, and that, you know, to have this lifestyle in the States, I'd be, you know, 15 grand a month if I was still in LA and whatnot. So you choose to live in these countries. That was my journey anyway, in which I could live psychotically well in places and really just kind of thrive. And then moving here in Mexico, you know, I live in a beach town, I live in a tourist town. So yeah, it's definitely like a vacation. And that's why I'm like, yeah, we're kind of good down here, aside from the stuff going on outside. But yeah, weed as self-care, smoking as self-care is
I couldn't agree more. Unfortunately, they don't play that here where I've decided to move abroad. That's not an option for me, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I won't say I'm struggling with that, because it's not a huge part of my self-care practices, but I did in the past dibble and dabble and enjoyed it very much. And I think with what's going on, I might do that more often if it were available to me. So God bless you and the Mexico crew, Sheila. And I can't wait to come and visit. I have invited myself.
Yeah.
Please.
But what you mentioned about changing your diet, I would say the pandemic has forced me to also cook more. You know, in Dubai, you can get every single thing delivered to you. I mean, from things that you have no business ordering, like Wendy's, to plants, to, I mean, you name it, you can have it delivered to your doorstep. So I've sort of ventured back into cooking. I know how to cook, but just was lazy, didn't want to do it. So I've been cooking a lot more, trying to rely less on animal protein. So I'm not going to put a label on it because my friends will get me. But I'm eating less meat. I haven't had red meat since February, and I'm enjoying like continuing with that, trying to wean myself off chicken. It's hard. So I'm trying to eat more of my veggies, and just be more mindful about what I'm putting into my body. I wish I walked more, but as you all know, it's hot here. It's getting hot here. It is so hot. And our gyms are closed. So you're really blessed, Sheila, that you have access to your gym still. They are not playing those games here. You can't go into the gym. So every now and then, just because I know we as people, we need that vitamin D. And if we don't get it, we can get really sick. So I try to go outside and walk around. And then I'm ordering so much online. I've been shopping online, so I walk outside to get my packages. so I'm getting my steps in that way. And I'm taking the stairs, ladies. I'm not taking the elevator. So little things like that. I'm revisiting my yoga mat, not as much as I should, but I've been pulling it out here and there. Like I said, I purchased some plants. I'm talking to them, singing to them. I'm trying to get better with my sleep habits. That's still a work in progress. So those are the things I'm kind of engaging in to up my self-care.
Okay. Well, I'm so jealous you have Wendy's. We don't have that. Here in Germany.
I don't need it.
I know you don't need it, but I mean that's the thing, and just with Sheila, the same thing with me. I had a complete lifestyle change because last time I lived in Germany, I lived in a city. You know, we had good public transportation infrastructure. Now I live in a smaller town, and like where I work, there's no bus stop, so I have to either walk to work or take my bike. So basically, that's where we at. And so I'm like, all right, well, now I'm like, I'm so European at this point. I'm like, why should I pay €2.50 when I can just walk for 40 minutes for free? Like, that's my thinking now. Like, so like, why should I pay that? And then it's going to be over €5. No, I'll just walk there and walk back. So as a result, I did drop a lot of weight too. And so it's like, as far as the self-care goes, now what I do with the pandemic, because here in Germany, they consider like exercise is essential. They allow you to go outside to get some exercise. But I normally, like today it's kind of crappy outside. I'm probably not going outside. If I do, it's just to the store. But if it was like sunny after I finish with you guys, I'd go ride my bike outside. There's a lot of bike paths and pedestrian ways. So I would ride my bike. I love to ride my bike. And in the sunlight, it's a nice feeling, especially when you get up the hill and you start going down, it feels like flying. I love it. So that's one of the things I do because I don't listen to music when I'm doing that. So it's just clear head, riding the bike, enjoying it, what it feels like. And that's it. I'm not thinking about nothing else. Another thing I started back doing, one of the things I love to do, I started back this Sunday, belly dancing. That's one of the things I love to do. So I bought some more hip scarves. They actually just came yesterday. And so that's one of the things I love to do. So I'm doing that to just keep my vibration high. And then also I've had to take a hard look at the type of people, I consider to be friends, because I've gone through a whole growth process in the course of me changing my lifestyle, losing weight, trying to get focused, clear on my focus. And I've started to realize that I need to, like, what my needs are. I've come to the conclusion I know what my needs are in any kind of relationship. And then also looking at the relationships that are existing and saying, I'll F4 because my needs aren't getting met. So.
Good. Anybody else? Self-care.
Well,
Okay.
with my self-care,
Dr. Pamela.
Okay. Sometimes I like to work in the house, but I live on campus and we have a small campus, but I can go and walk around and just be outdoors for a little bit. There is a coffee shop close by that I go to just to see different walls. So with the self-care, I am a big advocate for that. So I make sure I'm doing something for myself physically and mentally all the time.
All right. I did get a question, and I think I can answer this. None of you are moms, correct?
Nope.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. We'll have to get another panel who has some mothers. We weren't that balanced on this particular panel, but I just wanted to make sure that we had some women who could talk from different perspectives in different countries. So unfortunately, we can't answer the mommy traveling question at this time. I did have another question since I haven't. There's a question coming from Facebook that says, is there a shortage of commodities? Did you all have people who were panicking? Like I know here in the States, obviously people were worried about going to the bathroom. So there was a toilet.
Yeah, I can tell you right now. And I was actually annoyed about it, to be honest with you, because back in January when the story first broke and they started talking about the virus in Wuhan, I had a preemptively canceled all of my trips except for the one trip that I had like couldn't get my money back on. But I canceled all my trips. I'm like, I'm staying home. I'm not playing with y'all. And all the Germans, because Germans have a different way of thinking than Americans, all the Germans. Oh, it's just a media tactic. It's just a scare tactic. You need to live your life, blah, 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 blah. Why are you canceling your trips? They just want to control you. Next thing you know, we don't have no toilet paper. We don't have no water. I thought it was just a media tactic. What's going on? Now we don't have any water. Well, the small stores, because the big stores did, but they really went over the board with the toilet paper, and it was something else they did. And then I started to notice that some of the produce, like I would go to the big store right here. It's kind of like Walmart. It's kind of like Walmart. Like they have TVs, they have everything in there. I went in there and it was like, and they have these, it's like already pre-made vegetables. So if you want to make soup, because I've been making a lot of soup, like Anika, I started cooking more. And so they ran out of that. And I'm like, okay. And then, so I actually started getting other things like other fruits because they were running out of the regular stuff that I eat. So like I started getting like whole pineapples and cutting them up because those would still be there. I found plantains because nobody's buying them because they don't eat that here, I guess. So it's like little things that people was like, I'm not buying that. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna buy it. And so like, it was a lot of things I would say people would just, and I just did a hand sanitizer. That was another one. Hand sanitizer. And it just blows my mind because it was like, what were you guys doing before? Like, what were you doing before?
Did anybody else have any issues with like scarcity?
We had none here. All the stores stayed stocked. Because the one thing about Mexico is that a lot of things are exported out of Mexico. So we're heavy agriculture, heavy meat, huge supply chains and all that stuff here. So we didn't have that at all. The one thing we did have was hand sanitizer, obviously, but because I'm such a proactive person, when this stuff first hit globally back in January, I'm looking like, And then once it popped out of China, that's when I was like, okay, we need to start getting ready. So Claire and I started preparing. I was like, let's get the bigger things of water, or let's kind of stockpile those. So we started stockpiling that stuff in February because we knew that when we eventually shut down, like sometime in March, I just kind of predicted this, that people would finally realize, oh, we need this stuff. So we already had it. We had hand sanitizer and all that stuff. And then of course, when it hit, the stores didn't run out of anything except alcohol, 70% proof alcohol, hand sanitizers, and that was it. But then they got stuff back within a couple of weeks. So no issues. Local stores we shop in, nothing. And then we had the big Walmart. We actually have a Walmart down the street, actually. So the big box stores, no, nothing changed at all.
Yeah, it's kind of been the same here. Supplies have been readily available, hand sanitizer, soap, all of the toilet paper hasn't been an issue. So, whew. And so I'm really thankful for that. The liquor stores remained open. So that was great too.
I have a question just really quick because it's Ramadan right now. So yes. I'm sorry. I know but I just thought about it because you said the liquor stores are still open. I'm just wondering, how does that play out with a pandemic during Ramadan in Dubai?
Well, as long as you have that alcohol license, you go in the liquor store, you have your mask on, you social distance, and you pick up your things and you take them to the counter. I mean, I'm drinking right now. I'm trying to go to bed, but I did have a beer to loosen me up before the pandemic. If I'm being completely transparent. So I mean, that's how it plays out. I'm not Muslim, and they understand that. They're very they understand that, and it's about money, I would say too. So the liquor stores are packed, and we're packed. I remember right before we went on a almost 24-hour lockdown. the only place you could go were the grocery stores and the pharmacies. So right before they were about to institute this curfew, they were doing the sterilization program. The line to get into one of the liquor stores was outrageous. So, I mean, people, to answer your question, if you're not Muslim, visibly, you're in the liquor store with your alcohol license.
I'm done. Oh my God.
You're spending so much time. I'm having brunch at home, you know?
Right.
So just to chime in, because I'm next door in Oman, and
right.
Muslim country, and we're, again, unlike Big Brother, they're more conservative over here for Ramadan. Yeah. Right before Ramadan, liquor stores have been closed for the past month. So,
okay.
You know, I have an expat, like a WhatsApp group, and actually one of the teachers in there just texted the other day. He was like, "So about these liquor stores, are they about to open? You know, Ramadan is ending in a few days."
Yeah, it is.
But the problem is, you know, with the pandemic, they just as of yesterday, the Ministry of Health had a meeting, and they, like so many non-essential stores have been closed, that they just, now that Ramadan's ending, Eid's about to start, which is the next, you know, Muslim holiday. Yeah. They've opened up, well, as of this weekend, they're going to open up more businesses. Like the electronic shops have been closed, and some places that, you know, auto car shops have been closed, and different things. So they finally have been easing their way back into society with businesses just keeping social distancing. But we're still like, so liquor stores, what's happening with that? Like, we don't really know. Right. Like, it's still kind of, you know, that's not essential to the Muslims, who is like 85-90% of the population here, unlike Dubai, which is the opposite. They have 80% expats. So they're playing into, you know, the economy. Over here, they're like, well, no, that's not important. You know, the expats still be all right. So we were all like stocking up. The funny part is, you know, I was saying I'm single, you know, living here alone. I never bothered applying for a liquor license because I travel so much. So whenever I like go to Dubai, which is a lot, or whenever I travel somewhere, I would just always stock up and bring my 2 bottles back. So now, having these few months of like, you know, lockdown, I was fortunate enough, one of my good friends who did have a license, they did a run and they just got some stuff for me as they came back to my town. Very grateful for my tribe, my community. But yeah, so now my little supply's getting low. I was like, the sister's birthday's coming up next month. These liquor stores, I haven't been able to travel. I can't replenish my stash. So yeah, that's been fun.
So, yeah. All right, I do have a question from Ty Clark. I'm unmuted you. You can go ahead and ask.
Hi, hi everyone. I'm so excited to be here. One of my best friends is on this call. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. And one of the things that's really interesting to me is like, I'm noticing a lot of people in the US that have been like starting to travel and just like act like, I mean, in the US, it seems like people are just, oh, it's over, whatever. My question for a lot of you, seem like you travel very heavily, a lot of travel bloggers here. What are your plans as far as going forward? Are you thinking about traveling? Have you started looking at it? Have you looked at options? Like what are you looking at as far as travel plans go forward in the future?
Well, I can tell you, I'm not going outside the country. Like, I'm going to wait till the coast is clear so they can do whatever they want to do. But any travel that I do is going to be domestically until the coast is clear. And I feel like, honestly, that's probably because I still have hopes that hot girl summer is going to happen this year. So I feel like I need to keep it domestic anyway, say all the parties and stuff. So I'm hoping, but I'm not going to go like to Santorini, to Barcelona. I'm not going to do any of that stuff until like we get an official, the coast is clear.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Yeah. Same here. I have no plans to travel internationally until I feel like things are all the way open and the coast is really clear. I was hoping, I think I'm going to push that here. My fear is that I have to leave and I don't want to go somewhere and get stuck, which has happened to some people that I know. They weren't able to come back into the country, and I don't want to risk that. And so I'm going to wait until later on in the year before I take a trip.
Luckily for me,
sorry, Sheila. I was just want to piggyback. I feel the same exact way being here in Oman. Like, I was saying before, I'm a travel blogger, so I love travel. I'm looking forward to my little birthday trip to Africa next month, which is not going to happen now. So I feel more comfortable just staying in the country because, like, technically, right now the borders are still closed in Oman, and we're like, I have no idea when they're going to open up. It's a possibility, and I think I've heard the same thing for Dubai. Like, I know they're looking to have tourists coming in as of June, and I think Oman, I don't think they're going to be as open to that idea. So my biggest fear as well is like leaving, and not being able to get back in. I've heard rumors. Actually, just our HOD, the head of department in my college today, sent out the leave forms for the summer vacation. Those are starting in the next few weeks. And she was like, well, she even made a note of the fact that, if you do decide to try to leave the country, if you come back in, you'll definitely have to do a mandatory 14-day quarantine. So I believe it is an option, but being a travel blogger and following the travel news and just seeing all of the articles updates, looking on the different sites like I think it's IATA, the site that I recommend checking out so you can see what countries are open, who are open the borders. Like there's obviously with the summer months, a lot of countries don't want to lose their money because some people their economy thrives on travel. So it's kind of like
Right.
Part of me is like, oh, I want to help the economy, but at the same token, my health is the most important thing to me. So I'll feel more comfortable standing on mine for the time being, and hopefully, when they have rapid testing and when they have different variables that will make me feel more comfortable, I will be not even getting harmed, but also I don't want to put anyone else in jeopardy as well. Traveling and being a carrier. So that's been my biggest concern.
Luckily for me, I had been every place I wanted to be. So when I got here to Mexico, I was already over traveling anyway. We, all of us down here are heavy, hardcore travelers. So we were just talking about this the other day. And I think a lot of us are wanting to explore more of Mexico. Mexico is so rich and just amazing. And so we're like, yeah, we're going to do like internal domestic stuff. I was kind of concerned because when you come here to Mexico as a visitor, you get a 6-month tourist visa. And so my 6 months was up actually last week. And so as we were all kind of in that space, we're like, what are we going to do? And so I was really afraid that I was going to have to go to the States, do a quick little visa run, and then come right back. But I didn't want to do it. Well, luckily, one of the immigration here said, we can extend your visa without you having to leave. So I just got that done. Praise God. So I'm good until like November, which is great.
Right.
So I don't have to leave. I don't have to go anywhere. I'm so happy because I'm terrified of being anywhere, to be honest with you. It's just not that serious for me. And I mean, let's just keep it real. The whole world is really looking at what America's doing. And it's like, oh, y'all out there like that? And so my own personal conjecture and concern is, what is it going to look like traveling someplace with our blue passport?
Right.
On my American accent. I'm not trying to be like, So I'm good here in Mexico. I'm going to hang out here till the cows come home. And yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm not traveling until things have to settle down. So I'm staying put.
You know what's so ironic though? What's ironic is that I have a friend that's in Playa del Carmen, Kimoy.
That is my sister. She's at the crib this weekend, and she's one of my students. And she came here because she's like, Sheila's down there, and she ain't leaving either. We love it.
Yeah, and it was so funny because before this happened, I want to say starting in like December, because we're buddies. We like send each other voice notes in Spanish to try to. Well, she's more advanced than me, like to try to. And so we had talked about, because I was like, oh, how long are you gonna be there? And then I was like, oh, maybe I can like make a way out there. And so I was like, okay, so it'll probably be around March, I'm thinking, because that's when I'm out of school for between first and second semester. And then I'm just thinking to myself, and then I was like, I don't think I'm gonna make it. And then I felt really bad, but then this happened, and I was like, dang, I probably would have been stuck in Mexico if I would have went. I mean, yeah, kudos to my Spanish because it would have been on point. but
Right.
I would have been, I would have been stuck.
Well, it sounds like
ladies,
you've been stuck living the good life. Look, Sheila makes me want to. I'm ready to go to.
Oh
I'm ready to
yeah,
risk
that
it all
you're right, because I
and
would have
move to
been high
Mexico.
as a
I'm ready to risk
kite.
everything and move to Mexico.
Right, I would have
right.
been high as a kite.
Sheila has the best life. I just want to go there tomorrow. So I'm kind of mad.
Right.
I actually, I'm going to travel. So, but I have one last question because we are over time and I want to be mindful. If anybody has to jump off, I totally understand because I know it's late in some parts of the world. And thank you and appreciate you. And this will be recorded. It's actually sitting in Expat Women of Color right now, but it'll be recorded and put it on YouTube if you have to leave. But there is one question from Facebook, and I knew this was going to come up. It's always going to come up, especially when you're dealing with women. The question is about dating. So if anyone online,
I already let's what's the question? What's the question? Let's get it. Let's get it.
is anyone considering or engaging in online dating during the quarantine, or
See,
were
that's
you
right
dating
there.
prior to
Well,
and continuing that?
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and answer that. So I had my friend, I let my friends convince me to get Tinder. So I got on Tinder. This is like right before this happened, right? So I got on Tinder and I was real intentional about it. I end up meeting this guy. He's a journalist. He actually works for one of the channels. He has like his own segment or whatever. And but then like we met up and stuff, and then the shutdown happened. And so, basically, I just don't know what's going on with that. But aside from that, I deleted my Tinder because it was a whole lot of this Netflix and chill thing going on. And it's like, so you really don't care if you die from a respiratory infection trying to get somebody's, vagina or whatever. Like, you really don't care. And it's like, I just had to delete it because I was noticing during the quarantine, like as soon as things started to shut down, it was a lot of these, oh, can I come to your house? Oh, you can come to my house. Well, nothing's open. And it's like, exactly, nothing's open. And neither is my vagina.
Nothing.
Neither am I.
Open. Nothing.
Period.
Exactly. And so I suspended dating until basically if the restaurants, if I can't get free dinner, it's suspended. I'm not dating. The end.
Speak your truth. I actually suspended my Tinder account way before that because the dating pool here is it leaves a lot to be desired, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Dubai is super transient. People are here for the games, for the lifestyle. There are a lot of women and not so many eligible men, and so I mean that's just the situation. I mean. I date men, so dating here has been troublesome. So I've decided to stop, and I'm dating myself. I have 2 cats. I hang out with them. I watch Netflix, and yeah, I'm working on me. Dating here hasn't been what I thought it would be. So I'll just leave it at that's what my experience has been. So bless you that you're going on dating.
Well, here in Mexico, so prior to getting here in November, I had actually been celibate for literally 4 years before I got here. So I came down here, not with the intention of dating per se, but I was always open. And I've never done Tinder in the apps because I'm very much like, no, you need to see me and whatnot and meet you and whatever. So I met someone here in December. Of course, I meet the only dark chocolate, fine Jamaican man here who's just amazing. So we had our amazing romance, whatever, but that kind of cooled off in January. So I'm like, cool, I'll just be single for a little bit. Well, I was dating a Canadian and stuff here too. But then, the stuff hit. And so all the Canadians had to leave. So my little dating pool was left there. And so I said, all right, cool, I'll date in the summer. But as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, no, I'm straight. Like, because it's like logistically, how was that really going to work? I was already picky anyway with, sharing germs and all that stuff. So, okay, you meet someone, you can't kiss. I'm not trying to die, to get some dick. That's just not happening, right? So
exactly.
Logistically, I'm not really sure how that's trying to work. And if there's a vaccine and whatnot, I'm not doing that either. So
Right.
it's a real question. Like legitimately, what are we going to do? So I don't know. I don't have an answer.
I still want my food though. Like I still want my free dinner. So I
Right,
have to
right,
figure
right.
something
6
out.
feet
Like I
apart.
have to figure something out.
You're supposed to be
Well,
cooking. You just said you were cooking more and riding your bike. And
But
you
it
know
tastes
what?
so
On one of
much
those
better
bike
when
rides,
somebody buy it
on
for
one of those
you.
bike rides, you're gonna meet a companion. So just keep with it, okay? Stay the course.
well, for me, I had been dating someone. So being quarantined and where he stays, he's on a college campus too, but his college campus is strict. And so we just had a May holiday. And after the holiday, our cases went up. And so he's back on lockdown. So for us, it has been crazy because since January, I think I could count on one hand how many times we saw each other face to face. And so yes, we was dating before, but we're still like, no, we can't be doing all this because we don't know. And so it's been hard. But there's things we do. We have WeChat, so we video chat, and when we can get out, we do go to a coffee shop and sit and talk. So it has been difficult, but we have been managing it, and I'm glad that we're together because we're both each other's, support group. And when one of us is getting to that breaking edge, the other one was like, no, we have to look at it this way. So in that aspects is been helpful.
Yeah, I'm actually
Dr.
in a,
Pamela, can I ask where your boyfriend's from? Where is he from? I'm just curious.
Nigeria.
Okay.
He's from Nigeria.
Okay.
yeah, and then I'll go last. Actually, just to piggyback off of Pamela, I'm in the same similar situation as her. I've been in a complicated, I'll say, somewhat complicated situation for a little while now. Even just before this pandemic, I had got rid of Tinder and just stopped really browsing on there some time ago as well. Like the struggle was real, it had been real. But actually, the guy that I've been talking to, we met at a networking event at an Internations event a little over a year ago, and he seeked me out at the event, and we just exchanged information and we had been talking, but we were dating long distance before the pandemic. Like, he was based in Muscat and I live here in Nissel, which is like an hour and a half away. But he has his own, like, his engineering firm, and he had to leave Muscat because business was pretty bad there, to move down to Salalah, where he's closer to Yemen. But there's a lot of like contracts down there, so he's been based down in Salalah for some time. So we actually, had a rendezvous like just Valentine's Day weekend back in February. He actually, I flew down to Salalah to be with him and wine and dine me and did, all of the nice stuff, long holiday weekend. And then, haven't obviously seen him since, that was back in February, the pandemic. So, we were dealing with a logistics situation prior to the pandemic, but now it's like amplified because, the country had went in lockdown and you couldn't leave about your province for some bit. And now the country's out of lockdown, but I'm not a driver, and Salala, like I said, is 8-9 hours away. So I can't get to Muscat. I can't get to the airport. Before I was just able to fly down an hour away. So that put a little monkey wrench in that situation. So yeah, it's complicated, but such is life. Like I said, it was complicated before the pandemic, 10 times worse. So what can you do? But it is nice, like you said, having that person to be able to reach out to. He checks in on me, I check in on him, and before they ask the question, he's actually Sudanese, but he's lived in Oman most of his life. Like, so yeah, that's been my situation.
I think that's the thing that's.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I just have a quick question for Nicole, and it was, does he have any friends?
Right.
That are
In Dubai. Help Anika out. Help Anika out.
That's right.
He was a brother here in
Closed
Ohio.
mouths don't get fed.
That's real.
I think that's the thing that sucks the most about all this, though, because I was planning on being in Europe this summer and just ripping and
Hot
running.
girl summer. I'm telling you. It was
like,
a
I
thing.
had big plans, like, Lord. So, yeah.
Look, you don't have to tell me. I already bought some shoes. I bought some red shoes. I was like, I can't wait. I was ready, but I don't know what's going to
Yeah.
happen now.
Now it's a hot girl Zoom, girl.
Right.
Hot girl Zoom.
I hope my box of magnets don't expire.
Oh my goodness.
Lord. Well, I'm gonna leave off with one last question. And Sheila had mentioned it earlier about the vaccine. So I know that they're creating a vaccine. I know how I feel about it. I'm at the point where, so I have how old is he? He's 9 months. I have a 9-month-old son now, and like he can't get any more vaccines. I'm done. I'm over it. So if that means I have to homeschool him for the rest of his life, we're good. So, but I'm really concerned about this particular vaccine because I really feel like there's another agenda, but that's just me. How are you all feeling in each prospective country? Like, what is the conversation around vaccines and mandates and such?
I'll start. There wasn't much conversation here in Dubai about a vaccine. I've really heard that most back home in the States, that these talks of a vaccination happening, and forced vaccines. And, you know, our history is quite shady when it comes to Black folks and vaccinations and medical testing and experimentation. So I'm not feeling any of that. Here in Dubai, there hasn't been really a mention about a vaccine. If they make it available, I don't want to be a part of phase 1, 2, 3, or 4. I have historically gotten the flu shot. I have gotten the flu vaccine in the past. And some years I would get it, some years I wouldn't. Not the flu, but the vaccine, that is. So I think I would need to wait to see what's happening with this vaccine, who's getting the vaccine, what's happening after they're getting the vaccine, for me to feel comfortable putting that into my body. As of right now, I'm a hell no. Like, no, I'm not doing that. And that's really where I stand.
I'm an emphatic no. You know, the only country that's talking about vaccines really is America, and we know what that's about. So that's not happening. Not happening. So if I need to leave this planet vaccine free, then that's what it is. I mean, I'm totally fine with that. But I'm not going to be part of anyone's agenda. And you know, as Black people, you know, we know it's like, no, I'm good, love, enjoy. Y'all work that out. And countries, I think a lot of countries may require you to have some sort of cards or whatnot. I know that's kind of been thrown out there, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna skip all that. So it's definitely not being talked about here in Mexico, to my knowledge. Not that I speak Spanish and all that stuff, but it's kind of one of those major side eye kind of moves. So yeah.
Thing with Oman, I haven't heard any talks about the vaccine. I mean, right now we haven't even peaked yet. That they're still expecting the peak of infection to hit in a few months out. So right now, that's been their main focus, is just keeping the numbers down when it comes to treatment and, you know, overcrowding the hospitals. So there hasn't been any talks of that as of yet here, and you know, I feel the same way about, like, definitely not going to be a part of any early phases of it. I mean, you know, I give it a couple years and see how it goes. But one of my things has been, like, as an expat, curious to see how countries are going to move forward with, like, if they will try to make it mandatory. But I had, like I said, like the same as other ladies, I've only heard the US really talking about that. Some of the things that I've read so far is like the immunity passports is a possibility. I know in Europe, you might be able to speak more on that, you know, Germany. But I've heard that some countries are looking into that, you know, so testing for antibodies and seeing if you've been infected. I don't know how it goes if you haven't been infected and you don't have immunity, so you just can't travel. That's been my main concern. Like, is that going to be an option? You know I have a yellow fever card for going to play parts in Africa. So, you know, I'm not opposed to a vaccine in the late future once I see how it rolls out, but it's definitely not happening no time soon. So that's where I'm at with it. I'm just curious to see how the future of travel, like I know the Emirates, they have rapid testing already, you know, as you were leaving Dubai. So Oman, I'm just curious to see once the airport opens, what's going to be the method that they choose for being able to move about and to still be able to live and be an expat in this country. So time will tell. We'll see.
Yeah, for me, I only hear the vaccine coming from the US. And so I haven't really heard of anything here. But I would have to wait because listening to the US, I don't trust them. Right now, I don't trust them. We have no plan. it's like we have no crisis management plan committee working on this. And that's scary. And just throwing out stuff of what to do without having the certified people okay it. It's really scary. So for me, I don't right now, I don't know. But that vaccine, mm, nah, I think I might just have to drink more and maybe the alcohol will kill it. I don't know. I can't get a
Right.
vaccine right now.
Yeah,
Well,
in Europe, I haven't really heard anybody talking about a vaccine, to be honest with you. I hear a lot of people saying it's just another flu, like taking it the very cavalier. I don't understand. Like you get a fever, you cough, whatever. It's only affecting the high risk people. I hear a lot of that. That's what I
Yeah.
So they're
A
not
lot of
even talking
othering going
about.
on.
Yeah, I don't even think like now. I don't even think they think a vaccine is necessary. They think like I don't even think they got that far. I think they're just like, okay, when we're gonna be able to do what we want to do.
wow. It's
Interesting.
very interesting to hear the different perspectives. I would love to continue this conversation, but I do know that it's very late in some parts of the world, and I want to be mindful and respectful of those people who have to get up tomorrow to go to work. Thank you all for starting the conversation. We're going to continue the conversation in a couple weeks with a different panel. Next week, we're going to be talking to some seniors from both college and high school, and how they're dealing with the fact that they've been basically robbed of being able to celebrate themselves and their accomplishments. So we'll talk about that. And hopefully we'll be able to get back to some different countries and talk to some other women who are hopefully in Africa, South America. But I want to thank each and every last one of you for participating and giving your feedback on what's going on in the world, because as we know, the media has been very biased since all of this has happened. It's very left or right, depending on who's talking. And so just wanted to get a different perspective. For those of you who want to recap or listen to this and just checked in, it will be on Expat Women of Color. It's in that group. And it's also going to be in my Ladies and Lunch group. And then I also post it in about a week, if I get there, to YouTube. So thank you all for the conversation. Each one of y'all tell us how we can reach out to you, and then I'll go ahead and end the call.
All right, well, I'll go first. So you can find me on Instagram at Black Girls Learn Languages. You can find me on Facebook as well, Black Girls Learn Languages. I also have a private group that's connected. So when you go to the page and click the community tab, it'll take you to the group, which is a safe space for Black women. So must be Black, woman, mutually inclusive, must occur at the same time to get inside the group. Otherwise, you can be a part of the public fan page. I'm not really on Twitter like that because Twitter makes me mad, but I'm at Black Linguistas on Twitter. And also, if you're Black and you're bilingual, multilingual, and you would love to share your story to inspire, motivate, or encourage other Black women, get in contact with me so that I can feature you on my platform.
Nice. Thank you.
I prefer Instagram, and I'm on Instagram at the Afro Anomaly. So come visit, come say hi. I'll be looking for you ladies as well. This has been great. Thank you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed talking with you all. Yeah. I've laughed, and I feel like we could have kept going. And I need to see this is what I'm talking about. I need to take my ass to bed, and I'm wide awake now. So thank you so much. It's been lovely talking with all of you, and I hope we can connect after this conversation.
Yeah. Sure.
You can find me at SheilaKBrown.com, my website, or Instagram, Sheila K. Brown, at Sheila K. Brown, whatever. And then Facebook, I'm Sheila.Brown too. So get me out.
For me, you can find me on Facebook at Cam Group Wellness. I'm on Instagram at Cam_group, and Cam is KAM. I'm also on LinkedIn at the Cam Group. You can also find me on social media for under Dr. Pamela K. Caldwell. And my website is www.thecamgroup.org.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you all who have sat on the Zoom and participated, as well as the young ladies who are on Facebook watching. I really do appreciate being able to have this conversation. If you want to continue the conversation and you are not a member of Expat Women of Color, we do have a group on Facebook, Expat Women of Color. And if you want to join in on the lunch and learns that we have in Ladies and Lunch, please join us at Ladies and Lunch on Facebook. Again, it has been a wonderful afternoon, and it's my birthday, so I'm about to go celebrate.
Oh,
and eat
yeah,
some
Happy
food.
birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
So I'm excited about that, and it's a wrap. Until next week, you all stay safe and social distance.
Bye, ladies. Thank you so
Bye.
much.